Hey, on this Friday, I have a pressing question for you, one that's probably been on all of your minds. That is, can a honey bun be good for your health? Hi. Now, if you're talking about one of those honey buns, those little Debbie honey buns, the little twisty things with glaze on top. I like the ones that's got the thick icing, just covered with thick icing. If you're talking about one of those, probably not. But when you say honey bun, if you are talking about a man named Hollis, whose nickname is Honey Bun, then yes, definitely so. Honey bun can be good for your health. Hey, welcome to another Not So Crazy Talk. I'm Randy Palmer, and today I want to answer the question or explain to you why it is that a man nicknamed Honey Bun can be good for your health, how he got the nickname Honey Bun, and the lasting legacy that he left behind. First, how is it that a man can be good for your health? A man nicknamed Honey Bun. Honey Bun had a merry heart, and in Proverbs 17:22, the Bible tells us that a merry heart is like good medicine. Good medicine is what? Good for your health, right? Good for your heart. It said a broken spirit, though, dries up the bones. Hollis had a merry heart. And by a merry heart, I mean laughter. That was a part of his merry heart. He loved to laugh. He loved to make others laugh. He had that little sly grin sometimes, and his eyes would twinkle. He liked to tell stories. He liked to tell stories about himself. He liked to tell stories about others. Things that had happened in his past, things that had happened recently. He had those, hey, watch this moments, right? And he just, man, he loved to sing. Delta Dawn. Come to find out, one of his favorite songs. Robert and others talked about how much that he sang that song, Delta Dawn. Even after it went out of style, wasn't popular anymore, he was still singing. He loved to sing. Again, he had this merry heart. Was he always happy? Was he always joyful? No. He was like the rest of us. He had his days and his times, especially when battling sickness. Sometimes it could get him down. Gratefully, though, he had his angel Ann there next to him to help encourage him and had his faith. But for the most part, at least when I was around him, he had the merry heart. And that merry heart was good medicine to my soul, good medicine to others. So how did Hollis get this nickname, Honey Bun? It is an unusual nickname, right? How many people do you know named after something you could pick up at the bakery? I had the privilege of working with he and Mr. Tommy Hill when I was in high school, and they were working building the educational unit to Lynette Church of the Nazarene there in Lynette, Alabama. And so I would go over, and I was the pack rat, pack mule, whatever you want to call it. They needed something moved. If it was tools that needed moved, if it was shingles that needed toted, if it was big buckets of sand or whatever, bricks that needed to be carried, that was my job. I was young and strong, and that was the kind of stuff I enjoyed back then. It was hot. It was tiresome work. And so every so often, Hollis would saunter up to Mr. Tommy, and he'd like, Mr. Tommy, said, how about you send Randy down there to the store, get us a Coca-Cola and a Honey Bun, and take a little break. And Mr. Tommy paused for a moment and he'd think about, that sounds like a good idea, Hollis. Randy, why don't you go down there and get us a Coca-Cola and a Honey Bun? And so that kind of went on throughout the time that I worked with him. Happened more than once a day, thankfully. That's just the way it is. You take a couple of breaks when it's hot and it's tiresome, and you can do it in the stores right next door. So from that story, as I began to tell my brother that story, and we talked about it, from that was born Honey Bun, man. It was like when we'd see Hollis, hey Hollis, time to get a honey bun, we're gonna get a honey bun. And so from there on, Uncle Hollis was Honey Bun. That's how he got his nickname. It stuck with him. Others had nicknames for him. Others had special names for him. I know Garrett and Anna called him Poppy, and I'm not sure what his brothers called him. Hollis and maybe some other things, but that was how he received his nickname, Honey Bun. And so, all right, so we've got Honey Bun. The Bible tells us that a merry heart is good medicine. I like what Groucho Marx said. He said that a clown is like an aspirin that only works twice as fast. I would paraphrase that and would say that Honey Bun and his merry heart is like an aspirin, only works twice as fast. Yeah, you could be feeling down, you could be feeling depressed, and spend a little time with Honey Bun, your spirits will be lifted. And that leads me to what is the lasting legacy that he left with us. You know, a lot of people, man, they strive to leave money, they strive to leave all these other material things with people when they leave this earth, and when they're gone from here, they want to leave this behind. Not that that's not a problem if you want to leave those things, but Uncle Hollis left a lasting legacy. And that lasting legacy was this, is that this merry heart that he had, man, it made people's lives different. It changed them when he was around them. And reminds me of a study. Scott Burton was a part of a study they did with cancer patients. And in this study with cancer patients, they talked to them about the impact of laughter had upon them. And this was what he said. He said that, you know, the emotions of anger, suppression, denial, depression, all those things that came with having cancer, he said every one of those kind of took a little bit of me, you know, a little bit of my humanity with them when I felt them and I experienced them. He said, but when I was able to laugh and experience laughter, he said it was this, if, you know, I became stronger a little bit. He said, I opened up, and he said, I was more inviting to others, you know, into my life. And he said, it was for that time as I was laughing. He said, once again, he said, even though my body was devastated, my spirit was challenged, that I still felt like a vital human being. The lasting legacy that Honey Bun had, and one that I think will continue on for generations from now, as Garrett and Anna, you tell your children and they tell their children, and as I tell my nieces and nephews and they tell their children, and so forth, as and the other cousins pass on these stories, is that Uncle Hollis made me feel like a vital human being. When I was around him, it didn't matter. I could be having a bad day or other things could be going on. I could feel sick, but he lifted me up. He made me feel like a vital human being. He made me feel like I was important. He treated me as an equal. He didn't talk down to me. He may have laughed at some of the things I did, or he may have poked fun when I did something really, you know, not the smartest thing in the world. But he was there, man, and he was a true friend. And that is something that, so here it is, man, you know, even when I'm not around him, I could think of those stories, I could think of those times together. And just like a good medicine, it did my heart good. So 10 years from now, should I live to be 69, and I stop and I sit down and I start to tell somebody the stories of some of the things that we experienced together, I will once again laugh. And so 10 years from now, which will be 10 years and 1 week after his passing, the good medicine of the merry heart of Hollis Palmer will still be making a difference in the lives of other people. And it can continue for generation to generation as long as we will tell those stories. I am so, so grateful to have been able to spend as much time as I did with Uncle Hollis, traveling the highways, working in the fields, laughing at a couple of his brothers when they were doing funny things. One of them was my father. And just spending that time together and doing work together. Thank you for the memories. I encourage you that if there are people who are merry hearts in your life, and that's MERRYHEARTS, make sure we get this correct. Give thanks for them. Make sure that you tell God, thank you, God, for placing these people into my life. People who make me laugh, people who lift my spirits, and make me feel like a vital human being and that I'm alive. And then also take the time to tell them thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for having the merry heart, that attitude, whether it's somebody who's always singing a song or just in a pleasant spirit, who's an uplifting mood that makes you feel it. Tell them thank you. Aunt Ann, to my cousin Trina, her husband Jason, to Garrett and to Anna, prayers are with you, lifting you up to God. May you find help and comfort in him and in the memories. Can't fathom the memories that you guys have with all the time that you spent with Hollis. May God bless you. Everyone, keep on keeping on till next time. This is Randy Palmer of Not So Crazy Talk.